Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs for another installment of the world-famous summer series. Though this isn't really summer-related, it's just some bizarre stories that we got hold of from a lovely coworker.
Yes, Jen, thank you.
Jen, thank you very much. So we're covering, how do we even word this?
Things that make your drug test pop.
Yes, and what happens when your drug test pops.
Yeah.
So Laura's going to take it away with things that make the drug test pop. That should be a song. Things that make the drug test pop.
Yes. I'm talking about mostly poppy seeds. And I got all this from AustraliaDrugTesting.com and ufhealth.org. Poppy seeds come from a species of poppy plants called, again, I don't know why I do this to myself, Papaver somniferum.
Papaverin?
Somniferum is Latin for sleep bringing.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Is that what happened in The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, that's why the Wizard of Oz, they lay down the poppy fields and fall asleep.
My favorite movie. We all know how much I love The Wizard of Oz.
The name hints that the plant may contain opiates, which are compounds that suppress the central nervous system and can cause drowsiness and sleep. Two main uses of opium poppy. There's two main uses of opium poppy. One is a source of the opiates in painkillers like morphine and codeine. The other is for cooking and baking. Those are the two main uses of opium poppy. How did we go from...
Does it lose its potency when you cook it? Because I've never gotten a good high off of any poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds themselves don't actually contain opium. However, when they are harvested, they can be contaminated because the opiates are contained in the seed pod.
All right.
So when they're harvested, the opium from the seed pod can get onto the actual poppy seeds, contaminating it. You cannot eat enough poppy seeds to make you high. Like there's not a chance in the world you can have enough poppy seeds to make yourself high. And washing and then cooking them dramatically decreases opiate contamination.
Okay.
So like even if you ate them raw, you still can't get high. And then cooking and washing them even lessens that. But drug tests are extremely sensitive. And consuming certain poppy seed products can lead to positive urine drug test results for opiates, specifically morphine and codeine.
Yep.
Because opiate content is not listed on like food labels. It doesn't say like, oh, this contains poppy seeds. Percentage of opium. It is unclear which products contain enough opiates
to pop
the test. So if you're drug testing for your job or any other reason, it is advised to avoid poppy seed products, period, because they don't know which ones are really going to trigger it. And the most drug, like if we were going for our job, the doctors giving us the test would then look, do they have track marks? Do they have needle marks? Do they have like symptoms? Do they look like they're on drugs? And if it was no and you popped for that, they might be like, okay, that was poppy seeds. The military has expressly said, do not take anything with poppy seeds because they don't look. They don't give a shit. If it pops, that's it. But there are people who have been let go from the military. Wrongly, because it looked like they popped for codeine and they're like, we ate a muffin. Like we literally had a muffin with it that they are reviewing so they don't get dishonored. They weren't dishonorably discharged. But if you're in the military, do not eat anything with poppy seeds because they're not looking for track marks. Right. Other foods that give false positive drug test results. Number one, pizza.
Why?
It can cause a false positive on a breathalyzer. The dough rises because of yeast. And yeast encourages fermentation of glucose into alcohol and other chemicals. So literally, if you have pizza, you can get a false positive on a breathalyzer test.
All right. I have to just tell you the joke that the priest said this morning because it made me laugh a lot. Guy gets pulled over. Priest gets pulled over. Cop gives him a breathalyzer. And he's like, he popped. He's like, what did you drink? He's like, water. He's like, well, you're positive. He's like, damn, he did it again. I thought that was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing.
Number two, durian fruit. It's an Asian fruit.
I can promise you I've never had one, nor will I ever.
I'm probably allergic to it.
I don't like the name. Yeah, you probably are.
So it's an Asian fruit. I think it's like spiny on the outside. And it has high nutritional value, so like a lot of people eat it. It has a very distinct flavor. It has a custardy texture.
Like it tastes like custard.
No, it has the texture of it is.
I don't want any fruit that's like custard. That's disgusting.
And it also has a very strong aroma when ripe. It doesn't say good aroma, so I'm not sure. I don't think I would ever eat this. I think if you've lived in
Does it make me high?
No.
Oh.
But it can cause a false positive on a breathalyzer test because your mouth is left with lingering alcohol after eating this fruit. So whatever is in this fruit and how you break it down, your mouth has like alcohol left in it.
Why am I eating this?
I'm not eating this, but just in case you're ever presented with the durian fruit, I will never breathe eat a durian in a breathalyzer. 3, hemp seeds.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they're a variety of cannabis sativa plant, but has less than 0.3% of THC in it. Hemp seeds and oils are used in soaps, foods, baking, like they're cereal, like they're used in a ton of things. So
hemp seeds?
Yeah. Ugh. In oil. So you can ingest it without actually knowing you're ingesting it. The amount of THC is too small to make a person high, but it can be stored in fat cells for up to 5 weeks. So if you got a certain protein bar that had hemp oil in it and you were eating them every day,
you're gonna have it in there. And
it's storing in your fat cells. If you had to take a urine test,
it's gonna pop.
It's gonna pop for THC. So you can fail a drug test because of hemp seed. Hemp seed oils do not take if you are drug tested. Coca tea is made from the leaves of the same plant that you get cocaine from.
Cocaine.
It breaks down to produce cocaine metabolites that can be detected on a drug test in as little as 2 hours after drinking it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it stays in for like a couple days.
Do I get a high from it?
No.
Damn it.
Number 5, tonic water. Tonic water, was initially advertised as a drink to treat malaria. So it was like really popular back when malaria.
Imagine like I'm having gin and tonics to get rid of my malaria.
Yeah.
Load me up.
You're on heroin. So they used it to treat malaria because it has quinine in it. However, quinine is now frequently used to cut illegal drugs like heroin.
Interesting.
So if they give you a drug test because they suspect something or whatever for your job and quinine shows up, sometimes they think you're using heroin because you have quinine in your system.
You can't be like, dude, I had 3 gin and tonics last night.
So try not to drink tonic water if you're going to have a drug test. Other over-the-counter meds have also been known to create false positives on drug tests. Acetaminophen, alcohol, antihistamines, aspirin, and caffeine can all somehow pop on a drug test. So if you are getting tested,
drink water,
get a new job, doing whatever, tell the tester up front, I take this prescription medicine. I've been taking Tylenol every day. I had a fever, so I was taking Tylenol. I take ibuprofen for my knees. Like, tell them up front what you're taking so then they can
know it's there.
Know, like, oh, this might have popped because of that. And then do a more in-depth test. But let them know what you're doing beforehand.
Oh, Laura, that's going to come into play with USA Today. Oh. I made that rhyme?
You did.
Poor Susan Horton.
Well.
August of 2022, Susan Horton. She's one of these women. She's a stay-at-home mom, homeschooler. She's been doing this for 20 years.
Homeschooler?
Yeah. Yeah. She's got 4 children. She's starting contractions with number 5.
Oh.
Yeah. And like any experienced mother, when you know you're going to the hospital, what do? You
take a shower?
You eat. You eat because you know as soon as you get in there, they're not going to let you eat. So before going to the hospital, Kaiser Permanente in Santa Rosa, California, she ate a Costco pizza and a salad with poppy seed dressing on it. When she arrives at the hospital, she is immediately drug tested with a urine test. The morning after she delivered, the nurse informed her she had tested positive for opiates. Susan was shocked because not only does she not use any illicit drugs, but like any good stay-at-home mom who homeschools, she didn't take an epidural, pain meds, nothing. She's not having anything in there. So she doesn't even take Advil. She doesn't know what happened. The hospital reports the positive test to child welfare and the baby is taken away. Quote, Kaiser Permanente refused comment, but in a statement said, excuse me, because I have my microphone in my stomach, so I only have one hand. The Santa Rosa Hospital typically gets consent to do drug tests on patients for medical reasons. And as a mandated reporter under state law, it refers potential exposures of newborns to illicit drugs to child welfare authorities. The Sonoma County Human Services said in a statement that it evaluates all referrals using, quote, evidence and research-based methods. And if a report is deemed valid, it has a duty under state law to investigate. This has been a state and federal law requiring hospitals to ID newborns affected by drugs in the mom's womb for decades. The problem is, because the hospitals are mandated and you have to do a number of these, are they getting the top of the line drug tests?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they get the cheap-ass ones for $10. Mm-hmm. So to comply, they get the cheap-ass drug tests for $10. And the drug screens are easily misinterpreted and are wrong. Mm-hmm. They need further confirmation review, otherwise false positives result in unjust removal of the child. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to pay the money to have it further. Like, if it pops for drugs and you know the mother is not a user, it should go out and be retested, and they're not doing that. So this I don't know what they are, group, the Marshall Project, they interviewed dozens of patients and medical providers, toxicologists, and other experts and they came across like 50 moms across 22 states and found that the investigations had likely had bogus test results, and women had been reported after having eaten anything from everything bagels to lemon poppy seed muffins, or had taken meds like Zantac, Zoloft, or labetalol, which labetalol is the most common prescribed like blood pressure medication for pregnant women for eclampsia or preeclampsia. At hospitals, test results often come with warnings of false positives, and they direct clinicians to do further testing. The Marshall Project found most hospitals refer child welfare without further testing. And even when a doctor says, look, I know her, she's not a drug addict, they don't care, they still report it.
Oh my God.
Because they're worried that if they don't report it, and she is a user, and the kid goes home and she killed, now they're going to be sued for not having.
But just test the baby. Do you know, you could.
But some of these babies
just
may
test
pop
baby.
it too. Like if you've been taking, there's somebody in here.
Yeah, I guess labetalol, but
right. It depends. The baby's going to pop too. So Susan Horton is totally confused by her results, and then she remembers, oh my God, I had poppy seed dressing from Costco, and she tells the nurse, I had poppy seed dressing, and she's like losing her shit, telling them. So records show that the urine was put through a second test, and she was positive for codeine, which is derived from the poppy plant, as you said. And one of my favorite lines I watch on TV, and the guy's like, to your point, Laura, to your point, it pops. Many hospitals have been advised, if it's positive, to check for thebaine, which is in poppy seeds, but it's not in heroin. So they can easily distinguish this was a poppy seed bagel. Her chart states, quote, Mom and Dad insist that a Costco salad with poppy seed dressing is responsible, unquote. Doctors also wrote that they were unable to verify whether this would result in a positive test. She was held in the hospital for 5 days to monitor for withdrawal for the baby's safety. Mm-hmm. The California state law does not say that a positive test alone is sufficient, but Susan had missed some appointments because it was COVID and she has a son with heart issues. So she missed a couple of prenatal appointments. This was a red flag for abuse. And when the caseworker arrived, she and her husband refused to sign a safety plan or allow a home visit or her children to be interviewed, which I'm sorry, if the state's knocking on my door to take my kids, I'm going to let you in to do whatever you want to prove that I'm not doing it. I know why they probably didn't do it. I think they're just these people who are skeptical of everything. So the caseworker got a judge's order to hold the baby in the hospital and then discharge it to the grandparents. And they could have supervised visits with this baby. Later in a courtroom, the caseworker told the judge it would be dangerous to release this baby to the parents. Susan was ordered to take another drug test, which was significantly tested. 2 weeks after the baby was born, a judge dismissed the case. Then there's a nurse in South Carolina, Ashley Riley. Regularly, she worked in a drug clinic, so she's always testing patients for drug abuse. If the tests were flagged, she would send it to confer and make sure. So she'd get further testing to make sure that, yes, this was correct. She goes in to deliver her own son in 2023. She's tested and she pops positive, but the hospital doesn't send it for confirmation. She, my writing's getting worse and worse as it was getting later and later. Okay. She insisted she had eaten a lemon poppy seed muffin. Well, we all know how, why anybody's eating muffin, Laura, because they're 450
So
calories.
many calories. You can eat so
I don't know
many
why we're
other
doing
foods
this.
other than muffins.
Anyway, she ate them, and the whole pregnancy she was eating these lemon poppy seed muffins. They even texted the caseworker the receipt. These are the poppy seed muffins we bought. And the caseworker's like, yeah, it could be that, but they still had to sign a safety plan. They still had to allow them into the house. And they said if they don't do this, her other 2 children were going to be put into foster care. It took 45 days before the case was dubbed unfounded and closed. And on my phone, I have one more case because I could not possibly have written any more.
And then at that point, you have to be like acting calm and rational. But at that, you must
You're
be
wild.
like so like, I'm telling you, I ate the like you. Then you look like a maniac,
Right.
like you're on drugs.
But like, look at these people. She's a nurse. Like, I'm not saying nurses aren't addicts, but come on. So then there's Melissa Robinson. She's an elementary school librarian in Huntsville, Alabama. She screened positive for cocaine in early 2024. It shocked her and her doctors. She had avoided anything during her pregnancy that could be risky, even cold cuts, because listeria, we've talked about that. Mm-hmm. She had no history of drug use. Because of the positive test, staff told her she was not allowed to breastfeed her daughter. The records show they reported her to the Alabama Child Welfare Agency and the Department of Human Resources. Robinson said a caseworker told her that she probably wouldn't be allowed to be alone with her baby and her husband would have to be supervised. A few days later, a confirmation test came back for negative for any substance proof, with proof that she had not used cocaine. She assumed that this would be the end of it. Instead, the agency continued to investigate, inspecting her home and even requiring her husband to take a drug test.
What?
The Alabama Child Welfare Agency said they are required to respond immediately to a hospital report. I have one more. When the baby was 2 weeks old, the agency closed the case, citing insufficient evidence, but the allegations will remain on her record for at least 5 years.
That's awful.
To have such a beautiful experience tainted by something like that is difficult. Truthfully, it turned me into somebody different. One of the articles I had read also stating that a lot of this is affecting women in low-income areas, ethnic races, because they're getting tagged, and that obviously some of their healthcare is even cheaper. Mm-hmm. So they're really not testing the way they should, and they're not going in for confirmation tests. So these women are having babies taken away for eating poppy seeds or something.
That's insane.
And then there was another article that JetBlue is having problems. They have the airlines have a no tolerance policy,
which I mean,
right?
Good, yeah.
But they're using THC for pain and things like that, and they're being fired. So the union's like, you can't be doing this, you can't be firing them. And what they're saying is, any of these things you have to disclose ahead of time. I take THC for my back. I take if you do not disclose it. So if you've disclosed it and you pop, they'll give you a second chance. Mm-hmm. If you do not disclose it, automatic dismissal. Mm-hmm. Automatic dismissal.
Well, that's like, even if you're taking just go in and say, I took ibuprofen yesterday because I had a headache. I take this for my blood pressure. Exactly. Tell them immediately ahead of time. So there's like a
immediate dismissal. Yep. So it was crazy.
Not so.
Yes, so that's a very scary thing.
Yeah.
I don't eat a ton of poppy seed. I do eat everything bagels all the time.
But I think that's the problem, is you don't know what it's in.
Right.
Like, you're not reading it and being like, oh, it's a poppy seed.
Well, I think if you're popping for what poppy seeds pop for, you need to, that should be an automatic retry.
Yes.
Or a more in-depth, whatever it takes.
Right.
So, Jen, thank you for that tidbit
great.
episode. We appreciate it. We're coming near the end of the summer at this point. Mm-hmm. We might have one more summer series, and then it's into the fall.
Ugh,
I know. I can't believe it already. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy these late nights and hot nights.
Yes.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.